There are moments in life when your journey separates you from the crowd. Your growth, your elevation, and your focus create a gap that many people cannot bridge. It's not because you have done something wrong, rather, it is because you have stepped into a realm where your presence disrupts their comfort. They cannot face you now because your purpose has become a mirror, reflecting their insecurities, their fears, and their lack of progress. You must understand that elevation isolates. When you commit to living with intention, discipline, and excellence, it naturally intimidates those who choose to remain stagnant. They cannot stand in your presence because your life speaks a language they no longer understand. Your vision has outgrown their limitations, and your commitment to destiny has become a silent rebuke to complacency. There will be people who avoid you not because they dislike you, but because your life reminds them of what they could have been. You didn't choose this separation, your growth demanded it. Do not take it personally when they avoid your calls or disappear from your life. And do not be discouraged when they pretend not to see you. Their inability to face you is not your burden to carry. Sometimes the light in you is so bright that it blinds those who refuse to open their eyes. But your light is not meant to be dimmed to make others comfortable. You were created to shine, to lead, and to inspire. Let their absence be a sign that you are walking in the right direction. Let their silence be a confirmation that you are standing on higher ground. Keep moving forward, not with bitterness, but with grace. Those who cannot face you now are simply not ready to meet you where you are. And that's okay. You were never meant to stay where they left you. Keep growing, keep building, and keep pressing into your purpose. Those who are meant to walk with you will find their way in time. Until then, keep your eyes on the vision that has been set before you. When you commit to growth, you begin to notice a shift in your surroundings. The people who once stood by your side may no longer seem as close, and the conversations that once flowed effortlessly may now feel strained or forced. This is not because you have intentionally pushed them away, but because growth has a way of creating space. As you evolve, your priorities change, your mindset shifts, and your focus becomes sharper. These changes naturally create a distance between you and those who remain the same. Not everyone is prepared to witness transformation up close. Your growth highlights areas in their lives that they may have neglected or avoided. It's not that they don't care for you, it's that your progress serves as a reminder of what they could achieve but have not pursued. Growth requires courage, effort, and the willingness to embrace change, and not everyone is ready to take that step. This separation isn't a punishment or a rejection, it's a process. Growth stretches you beyond the familiar and draws you toward new horizons. And as you ascend, the gap between where you are and where others remain becomes more evident. Embrace this space not as a loss, but as evidence that you are moving toward your destiny. As you grow, your life begins to reflect truths that others may not be ready to face. Your progress becomes a silent mirror, showing them what they could have achieved if they had made different choices, taken bold steps, or embraced their own potential. This is not something you control, nor is it something you intend. Yet your success, discipline, and focus naturally highlight areas in their lives that remain unfulfilled or neglected. For many, this reflection is uncomfortable. It's not easy to confront the gap between who they are and who they could be. Instead of seeing your growth as inspiration, they may view it as a reminder of their own insecurities, fears, or missed opportunities. Your achievements may unintentionally magnify their doubts about themselves, making them feel inadequate or exposed. And rather than addressing these emotions internally, they may choose to distance themselves from you, not because of any fault in you, but because of the feelings your presence stirs within them. You must understand that this reaction is not about you. It is a defense mechanism, a way for them to shield themselves from confronting their own reality. Your determination, your commitment to becoming better, and your refusal to settle for less can be overwhelming for those who have chosen comfort over challenge. It can create tension in their minds, a battle between wanting to celebrate your progress and wrestling with the discomfort it brings. This is why some cannot face you now. Your life, your actions, and your pursuit of purpose disrupt their sense of complacency. And while they may not admit it, their avoidance often stems from a place of unspoken admiration mixed with unresolved struggles. Remember, their inability to be present in your life is not a reflection of your worth, but of their own journey. As you rise higher in your purpose, you will begin to notice how isolating elevation can be. Growth takes you to levels that require focus, discipline, and a mindset that not everyone around you is willing or prepared to adopt. The further you climb, the fewer people you will see standing beside you. It is not because they don't care, but because the demands of elevation are not for everyone. When you commit to excellence, it disrupts the patterns of those who are comfortable with mediocrity. Your actions become a silent challenge, a reminder of the standards they have chosen not to pursue. This is why elevation often feels lonely. It isolates you from those who prefer the familiar, the safe, and the predictable. You are no longer moving in the same direction as the crowd, and that divergence creates distance. This isolation is not something to fear, it is something to understand. Elevation requires separation. When you rise, you are stepping into an atmosphere that not everyone can survive in. The air becomes thinner at higher altitudes, and only those who are willing to adapt, to grow, and to stretch themselves can breathe at the level you are ascending to. Those who remain stagnant will find your new altitude uncomfortable, and for many, it is easier to step back than to try to keep up. Do not mistake this distance for rejection. It is simply the reality of growth. Your elevation is a sign that you are walking in your purpose, that you are embracing the fullness of your potential. While the path may feel lonely at times, it is leading you to places that are designed for you. Understand that isolation is not a punishment, it is preparation. It separates you from what no longer serves you so that you can focus on where you are destined to be. When people begin to avoid you, it's easy to question yourself, to wonder if you've done something wrong or caused offense. But their avoidance often has little to do with you and everything to do with what your life now represents. As you grow and step into your purpose, your actions and decisions start to challenge their comfort zones. They may see in you qualities they admire but have not yet cultivated in themselves, and this realization can be difficult for them to process. Their avoidance is not a rejection of you, it is a reflection of their inner struggles. It is easier for some to turn away than to confront what your growth reveals about their own lives. They may feel unworthy in your presence, not because you have said or done anything to make them feel that way, but because your progress brings their stagnation into sharper focus. Avoidance becomes their way of protecting themselves from the discomfort of facing what they have left undone or ignored. You must resist the temptation to take their behavior personally. Their silence, their absence, or their withdrawal is not an indication that you are at fault. It is a defense mechanism, a shield they use to avoid confronting the truths your life now embodies. You are not responsible for their reactions, nor are you required to shrink yourself to make them comfortable. Understand that their avoidance is temporary, a stage in their journey that they must navigate on their own. Some may find the courage to address their insecurities and return to your life with renewed strength and purpose. Others may remain distant, unable to reconcile their struggles with your growth. Either way, your responsibility is to stay true to your path, to keep moving forward without bitterness or regret. Let their absence serve as a reminder that your journey is unique and that not everyone is equipped to walk alongside you in this season. Growth is not something you can negotiate or postpone when you are called to a higher purpose. It demands a complete transformation, pulling you out of your comfort zone and into a place of intentional progress. This transformation is not only about what you gain, but also about what you lose along the way. As you grow, you will notice that some relationships, connections, and environments begin to fall away. It is not because you decided to let go of them, but because your growth has created a natural separation. Your growth requires you to rise to levels where old mindsets and patterns no longer have a place. The people who once fit into your life may struggle to understand the version of you that is emerging. They may feel left behind or disconnected, not because you have excluded them, but because they have chosen to stay the same while you move forward. This separation is not something to mourn, but something to embrace, for it is evidence that you are shedding what no longer aligns with your purpose. In this process, you will face moments of doubt, wondering why certain people cannot journey with you. But the truth is, your growth is not for everyone. It is a personal journey, one that calls you to leave behind what is familiar in order to step into what is destined. The separation you experience is a necessary part of your elevation. Without it, you would remain anchored to places and people that could hold you back. This is not an easy path to walk, but it is essential. Growth requires that you prioritize your purpose over your past, your vision over your comfort, and your future over your fears. Those who cannot keep up with your pace are not bad people. They are simply not equipped for the level of transformation you are experiencing. Let them go with grace, knowing that your growth is leading you to places where only those who are aligned with your purpose can follow. As you continue to grow, something remarkable begins to happen. The light within you becomes brighter. This light is not a physical glow, but the radiance of your purpose, your determination, and your clarity. It is the reflection of all the work you've done to transform yourself, the sacrifices you've made, and the discipline you've cultivated. This light, however, can become overwhelming to those around you who are not prepared to embrace their own potential. For some, your light is inspiring. It draws them closer, encouraging them to take steps toward their own growth. But for others, it can feel blinding. It reveals things they would rather keep hidden: their fears, insecurities, or the areas of their lives where they have chosen to settle. This is why they may avoid you, not because they dislike you, but because being near your light forces them to confront truths they are not yet ready to face. Your light does not diminish them, but it does challenge them. It asks silent questions. Why have you stayed where you are? Why have you ignored the call to grow? Why haven't you stepped into your own purpose? These are uncomfortable questions, and not everyone is ready to answer them. It is easier for them to turn away from the source of the light than to stand in its presence and face themselves. But you must never dim your light to make others feel comfortable. It is not your responsibility to shrink or hide your greatness for the sake of their ease. You were meant to shine, to illuminate paths, not only for yourself, but also for those who are willing to embrace the journey of growth. Your light serves as a beacon, calling others to rise to their own potential when they are ready. Understand that those who find your light overwhelming are not your enemies. They are simply on their own timeline. Their reaction is not a rejection of you, but a reflection of their inner struggles. Your job is not to carry their discomfort, but to keep shining, to keep moving forward, and to trust that your light will guide the right people into your life at the right time. Let it serve as a reminder that you are walking boldly in your purpose, and those who are meant to walk with you will find their way to the light. As you grow and evolve, your presence begins to carry a different energy, an energy that is no longer tied to the approval or validation of others. This shift, though subtle, is deeply felt by those around you. When you stop seeking their validation, it creates an unspoken shift in the dynamics of your relationships. People who once thrived on your dependence or sought control over your choices may find themselves unsettled. They are no longer able to predict your actions, influence your decisions, or keep you tied to old patterns. This newfound independence can make people uncomfortable because it forces them to reevaluate their role in your life. When you no longer need them in the way they are used to, it disrupts the balance they once relied upon. Some may interpret this as you pulling away, but in reality, it is you stepping into your own strength. You are no longer looking outward for confirmation of your worth. Instead, you are anchored in the understanding of who you are and the purpose you are walking toward. This change is liberating for you, but for those who depend on the old version of you, it can feel like a loss of control. They may avoid you, not because they don't care, but because your independence reminds them of areas in their own lives where they feel powerless. Your refusal to seek their approval highlights their own struggles with insecurity and dependence. But this is not your burden to carry. Your growth is not about rejecting others, but about embracing the fullness of who you are. As you let go of the need for validation, you free yourself to pursue your purpose without limitation. You no longer make decisions based on what will make others comfortable. You make decisions based on what aligns with your calling. This shift is necessary for your journey. When you stop seeking validation, you stop allowing others to define your path. You reclaim your power, your voice, and your direction. And while some may distance themselves because they can no longer influence you, others will be drawn to your authenticity, to the strength you now carry. Remember, you were not created to live according to the expectations of others. You were created to fulfill a purpose that only you can achieve, and that requires standing firmly in who you are without apology or hesitation. One of the most challenging aspects of growth is the realization that some people simply cannot celebrate your progress. It's not that they don't care about you, but your achievements often serve as a mirror to their own unfulfilled potential. Your growth reminds them of the dreams they abandoned, the risks they didn't take, or the opportunities they let slip away. This can be a difficult reality for them to face, and as a result, they may find it easier to withdraw than to celebrate with you. Your success has a way of exposing the gaps in their own lives. It shines a light on their hesitations, their fears, and the areas where they have chosen to settle. For some, this exposure feels like a threat, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your journey forces them to confront the paths they have avoided. Celebration requires a heart free of envy, and not everyone has reached the point where they can cheer for someone else while wrestling with their own sense of inadequacy. Do not let their inability to celebrate you make you question your worth. Your growth is not meant to be dimmed to make others feel comfortable. The ones who cannot celebrate you now are revealing their own struggles, not casting judgment on your journey. It is not your responsibility to carry their discomfort or to minimize your success to ease their insecurities. Instead, focus on the path ahead. Celebrate yourself and your progress, knowing that your achievements are a testament to the hard work, discipline, and faith you have invested in your journey. Understand that those who are truly meant to walk with you will find the strength to celebrate your wins, even if it challenges them to grow in the process. Sometimes the inability of others to celebrate with you is a blessing in disguise. It helps you discern who is genuinely for you and who is only comfortable with you as long as you remain at their level. Growth has a way of revealing true intentions, and while it may feel painful to lose certain connections, it is also freeing. It clears a space in your life for those who will celebrate not just your victories, but also your potential, who will cheer for you in every season of your journey. Let the absence remind you to move forward with gratitude for the path you are on, knowing that your growth is not just about you, but about fulfilling a greater purpose. As you rise higher in your journey, you will find that your presence in the lives of others begins to stir emotions and responses that you never anticipated. There are those who, in the face of your progress, will resort to attempts to discredit you, to undermine your efforts, or even to silence your voice. This can be a painful reality, especially when it comes from those you once considered friends or allies. But understand this, their attempts to tear you down are not a reflection of who you are. They are a reflection of their own insecurities and their inability to come to terms with the level you have reached. It is often the case that when people cannot match your growth or rise to meet you at the level you have ascended to, they may turn to negative behaviors such as gossip, criticism, or even sabotage. This is a natural reaction from those who are still struggling with their own sense of self-worth. They may feel threatened by the light that you carry, not because you are shining too brightly, but because your light forces them to face their own darkness, their own shortcomings. These actions are not something to take personally. When people resort to trying to diminish your success or to speak negatively about you, they are simply projecting their own feelings of inadequacy. They feel that by attempting to pull you down, they can somehow elevate themselves. However, this is a false belief. Their actions cannot define your value or stop the progress you have made. The more they try to attack you, the more they expose their own fears, frustrations, and limitations. You must learn to stand firm in the face of such attempts. Do not allow the words or actions of others to distract you from your mission. Every attempt to discredit you is a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Those who seek to tear you down are often threatened by the very greatness you are embodying. Their attacks may sting, but they will never diminish the power and potential that lies within you. Instead of responding to their negativity, continue to rise above it. Let their attacks be a reminder that you are exactly where you need to be. As you move forward in your purpose, understand that those who cannot handle your progress will fall away. Their inability to celebrate your success is not a reflection of your worth, but a reflection of their own unhealed wounds. When you refuse to be distracted by their negative attempts, you allow your growth to continue unimpeded. Their attempts to tear you down cannot stop the divine momentum that is propelling you forward. You are destined for greatness, and no amount of negativity will have the power to block what has been divinely ordained for your life. Stay focused, keep moving forward, and know that every attempt to undermine you is simply proof that you are making an impact. The higher you go, the more the winds will blow against you. But those winds cannot break you. They only serve to strengthen you as you continue to soar to new heights. As you continue to ascend in your personal and spiritual journey, you will reach a point where you begin to realize something powerful. Your growth, your success, and your resilience will inspire others who are on a similar path. The same people who once doubted you or tried to hold you back will one day look at your progress with awe and admiration. This is not a matter of revenge or vindication, but a natural consequence of your transformation. When you stand firm in your purpose, walk with confidence, and refuse to be shaken, you create a ripple effect that impacts everyone around you, even those who once underestimated you. At first, they may watch you from a distance, unable to fully grasp the depth of your change. But as they witness your consistency, your commitment, and your unwavering belief in your purpose, they begin to realize that you are not the same person they once knew. They start to see the power within you, and in turn, they are forced to reckon with the truth of their own potential. This shift is not about gloating or seeking validation from those who once doubted you. It's about recognizing that your journey has a purpose far beyond your personal success. You were not created simply to elevate yourself. You were meant to inspire others to rise as well. As they watch you, they begin to understand that if you can achieve what you have, so can they. Your story becomes a living testimony to the transformative power of resilience, faith, and growth. The very people who once criticized or doubted your abilities will eventually be the ones who seek your guidance, your wisdom, and your encouragement. They will see the strength you have cultivated, the wisdom you have gained, and the integrity you have maintained, and they will desire to learn from your example. They will come to understand that their initial judgment of you was based on their own limitations, not on your true potential. This process can be humbling. The same people who tried to hold you back now see you as a source of inspiration. They realize that your journey has taken you to places they thought were unreachable, and that realization forces them to acknowledge the possibility of their own greatness. While some may still harbor feelings of resentment or jealousy, others will come to recognize the truth in your progress and will be motivated to make changes in their own lives. When you find yourself in this position, never let pride or a desire for revenge cloud your purpose. Instead, use your story to uplift others. Continue to be a beacon of light for those who are still struggling, and always be ready to share the lessons you have learned along the way. Your rise was never meant to be a solitary journey. It was always meant to encourage others to rise with you. The day will come when those who once looked down on you will see you for the leader, the trailblazer, and the change maker that you have always been. They will understand that your strength was never about overpowering them, but about overcoming everything that tried to hold you down. And when that day comes, you will not seek validation from them. You will simply keep moving forward, knowing that your journey has created a legacy that will inspire generations to come. In conclusion, let this be the reminder that no matter where you are in your journey, your growth, your strength, and your transformation will always speak louder than the voices that tried to hold you back. The ones who couldn't face you before will eventually see the power and purpose within you. And when they do, it will not be about proving your worth. It will be about knowing that your unwavering faith, your resilience, and your determination have set the path for not only your success, but also the inspiration of those who doubted you. Keep moving forward unapologetically, because the world can never dim the light that is meant to shine. No matter who tries to oppose you, they cannot face you now, because you have become the force that pushes back every obstacle, and in doing so, you make space for even greater victories ahead. Keep rising, for the best is yet to come.